Good evening, our subject teacher Neha ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain the types of sentences with their examples in this short video. So let's start. There are 4 types of sentences: declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence and exclamatory sentence. Number 1, declarative sentence. Declarative sentence is a statement provides fact or convey information and it ends with a full stop. This is a full stop. For example, rainbow has 7 colors, or Kolkata is also known as the city of joy. Number 2, interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence asks questions and it ends with a question mark. This is the question mark. For example, what are you doing in the garden? Or what is your pet's name? Number 3, imperative sentence. Imperative sentence gives an advice, a command or makes a request and it ends with a full stop or exclamation mark. This is a full stop and this is an exclamation mark. For example, don't move. Don't move is a command and it ends with a exclamation mark. Or please give me your book is a request and it ends with a full stop. Number 4, exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory sentence has strong feelings and it ends with a exclamation mark. Usually we use what and how. For example, what a nice day ends with a exclamation mark, or how clever the submarine is ends with a exclamation mark. Hope you like my presentation. Thank you.
My name is Suchishmita Pal and I am in class 6. Today I will discuss about the its sentence types. First, sentence is of 4 types. First is declarative sentence. Declarative sentence means tell something and end with a full stop. It is known as a declarative sentence. For example, Amazon is a river. It is a statement. Next, Nitika ate 3 bananas in the morning. It is a statement. That's why it is declarative. Next is interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence means asks, which sentence that asks a question. For example, what is your name? How are you? It is an interrogative sentence. Number 3, it is imperative sentence. Imperative sentence means which sentence that gives a command or an advice or a request is known as an imperative sentence. For example, please give me that book. Let's go home. This is the imperative sentence. Next, number 4 is exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory sentence means strong feelings and end with an exclamation mark. It is known as an exclamatory sentence. For example, if I say, how clever the king is. Wow, the movie is so cool. Is this the exclamatory sentence? Thank you.
Neha ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain the summary of imagination in English 2 in this short video. So let's start. When the poet was a cowboy, he used to play at pirates and he sailed the 7 seas. The poet has vivid imagination regarding the adventure. He discovered the joys of reading and escaped the daily grind. When he lived with Eskimos in the land of ice and snow, he went hunting and fishing. He read a book of Jules Verne and he went off to the moon. It was just to take a look, and then it was time to return America. He spent the time in the forest of Africa, and Dr. Livingstone was his guide in the forest. And then again he went to America with Huckleberry Finn. He did hide. In his world of fantasy and imagination, he performed such a wonderful deed. He was the one that did succeed. Then when he grew up in his childish world, and at last the poet became serious, it nearly drove him around the bend. He still do like the mysterious, and this is the message the poet trying to send. Thank you. Hope you like this presentation.
My name is Rohini Roy. I am from class 6. Today I am going to recite a poem named Imagination. I used to play at pirates and sail the 7 seas. Then I was a cowboy. These simple things did me please. I had a vivid imagination. Adventure was always on my mind. I discovered the joys of reading and escaped the daily grind. Once I lived in the Eskimos in the land of ice and snow, went hunting and fishing. My fantasy was all aglow. I read a book of Jules Verne and went off to the moon. It was just to take a look, and it was time to return. I spent time in the forest of Africa with Dr. Livingstone as my guide, then off again to America with Huckleberry Finn I did hide, written by George Bernard Shaw.
Good evening, our subject teacher Anna ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain the types of changes in chemistry in this short video. So let's start. There are 7 types of changes: natural and artificial changes, fast and slow changes, reversible and irreversible changes, periodic and non-periodic changes, exothermic and endothermic changes, desirable and undesirable changes, and physical and chemical changes. Number 1. Natural and artificial changes. Changes that occur in nature is known as natural changes. For example, growth of a plant, and changes that are made to happen or caused by human activities is known as artificial changes. For example, making a dress from fibers. Number 2. Fast and slow changes. Changes that takes place in a very short period of time is known as fast changes. For example, burning of a matchstick. And changes that takes place over a long period of time is known as slow changes. For example, burning of a wood. Number 3. Reversible and irreversible changes. Changes that can be reversed. That means we can get back the original substance by changing the condition that brought about the change is known as reversible changes. For example, stretching of a rubber band. And changes that cannot be reversed, That means we cannot get back the original substance by changing the condition that brought about the substance is known as irreversible changes. For example, cooking a food. Number 4. Periodic and non-periodic changes. Changes that can repeat after a fixed period, after a fixed interval of time is known as periodic changes. For example, cycle of a day and night. And changes that cannot repeat after a fixed interval of time and can happen in any time is known as non-periodic changes. For example, occurrence of cyclones. Number 5. Exothermic and endothermic changes. Changes that releases of heat energy is known as exothermic changes. For example, bursting of crackers. And changes in which there is absorption of heat energy is known as endothermic changes. For example, cooking of food. And number 6, desirable and undesirable changes. Changes that are useful to us are known as desirable changes. For example, blooming of flowers. And changes that are harmful to us are known as undesirable changes. For example, land pollution. And number 7, physical and chemical changes. Changes in which no new substances are formed are known as physical changes. For example, evaporation. And changes in which new substances are formed are known as chemical changes. For example, rusting. Hope you like my presentation. Thank you.
My name is Rohini Roy. I am from class 6. I am going to discuss about the physical and chemical change and its types of the changes. What is change? A change can be defined as the conversion of any substance from one to another. What are the types of changes? Changes can be classified into different types: natural and artificial change, fast and slow change, reversible and irreversible change, periodic and non-periodic change, exothermic and endothermic change, desirable and undesirable change, and the last one is physical and chemical change. So, what is natural change? Changes that occur in nature are known as natural change. Examples of natural changes are growth of a plant. Means these changes that occur in nature. These changes occur in nature. That's why it's called natural change. What is artificial change? Changes that happen or caused by human activities is called artificial change. Examples: a dress from fibers. Means these changes are made by human beings. That's why it's called artificial change. Next one is fast and slow changes. Changes that takes place in a very short period of time is called fast change. Example of fast changes are burning of a matchsticks or burning of paper. Such that is an example of fast changes. Means these changes that take place in very short time. Burning of paper is a fast change. What is slow change? Changes that take place over a long period of time is called slow changes. Examples: germination of seed is an example of slow changes. Means these changes take place over a long time. Reversible and irreversible changes. Changes that can be reversed, that is, we can get back the original substance by changing the conditions that brought about the change are known as reversible change. Examples: melting of ice or stretching of a rubber band, folding and unfolding of a paper. Means these changes can be reversed. these changes can be reversed. That's why it is called a reversible change. What is irreversible changes? Changes that cannot be reversed, that is, we cannot get back the original substances by changing the conditions that brought about the change, are known as irreversible change. Examples: growth of a baby into adult is an irreversible change. Next one is periodic and non-periodic changes. Changes that repeat after a fixed interval of a time are known as periodic change. Means these changes can repeat after and after fixed interval of time are known as periodic change. Examples of periodic changes are change in seasons, cycle of day and night, rotation and revolution of earth, movement of hands, etc. Then what is non-periodic change? Changes that do not repeat after a fixed interval of time, and this can occur any time, is known as non-periodic change, such as earthquakes, tsunamis or volcanic eruptions. Next one is exothermic and endothermic changes. What is exothermic changes? Changes in which there is release energy in the form of heat is called exothermic change. Example of exothermic changes are burning of fuels, bursting of crackers, etc. What is endothermic change? Changes in which there is absorption of energy in the form of heat is known as exothermic changes. Examples of exothermic changes are evaporation of water or cooking food. Desirable and undesirable changes. Changes that are useful to us is called desirable changes, such as formation of curd into milk, cooking of food, ripening of fruits. What is undesirable changes? Changes that are harmful to us is called undesirable changes. Examples of undesirable changes are floods, rotting of fruits, vegetables. Next one is, and the last one is, physical and chemical changes. Physical changes, changes in which there is no new substance formed, are known as physical changes. Example of physical changes is melting of butter, tearing or folding of paper. And what is chemical change? Chemical changes in which new substances are formed is known as chemical changes. Such changes are alter both physical and chemical properties of the original substances. For example, burning of paper, rotting of fruits and vegetables, cooking of food and baking of a cake.
Good morning, our subject teacher Ahana ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain plant tissues and its types in biology in this short video. So let's start. Tissue. It is the collection of similar cells performing an organized function for the plant. And this is the diagram of plant tissue. And plant tissue is of two types: meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue have the capability to develop by swift division, and it is the main growth tissue of the plant. They have the ability to divide. They are classified into three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Next, permanent tissue. They are derived from the meristematic tissue. Tissues that have become natural and do not have the ability to divide further are called permanent tissue. They are of two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue is grouped in two types: protective tissue and supporting tissue. Supporting tissue are also called homogeneous tissue. and they are of three types: parenchyma, chlorenchyma and sclerenchyma. Next, complex permanent tissue. Complex permanent tissue are also called vascular tissues and are classified into two types: xylem and phloem. Xylem is also known as wood tissue, and phloem, it is a bundle of living cells with narrow, elongated and thin cells wall. Hope you like my presentation. Thank you.
My name is Rohini Roy. I am from class 6. Today I am going to explain about plant tissues and its types. Plant tissues can be grouped into two types. One meristematic tissue and number two is permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are small and thin walled with large nuclei and almost no vacuoles and intercellular space. These cells are divided actively. Function of meristematic tissues is bring about growth. Meristematic tissues can be classified into three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. First is apical meristem is present at the tip of the growing plants of the stem and branches to root tip. It helps in growth at the root and shoot tips. Intercalary meristem is found in place where the stem is attached to the leaves. Third number is lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is present between the water conducting and food conducting tissues. It helps to increase the thickness of the stem. Now is permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, these tissues form the bulk of the plant body. Permanent tissues can be grouped into two types: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are composed of cells which are structurally and functionally similar. This tissues is made up of one type of cells. Protective tissues. The outer protective layers of the plant are commonly known as epidermis. Tissues in outer walls of the plant are usually covered with wax. Epidermis cells in the leaves have openings called stomata, which is surrounded by guard cells. Supporting tissues make primary plant body. Supporting tissues makes the primary plant body of plant. Supporting tissues can be grouped into three types: parenchyma, parenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma are found in all soft parts of a plant cells, round to oval shapes with thin flexible cell wall and large vacuole with intercellular space. Collenchyma, they have elongated cells that are thicker at corners and are made up of substance called cellulose and pectin. These cells provide structural support of a plant. Now, third number is sclerenchyma. These are dead cells with a very thick wall made of cellulose and lignin. They are found on the veins and stem of a plant. Now is complex permanent tissues. Complex permanent tissues are made up of two or more different types of specialized cells that carry out a single specific function. They are called conducting tissues. Complex permanent tissues can be grouped into two types: xylem and phloem. Xylem is a bundle of cells that are often dead. They have thick cell walls and placed end to end. Xylem is composed of different types of cells. Phloem is a bundle of living cells with narrow, elongated and thin cell walls. Phloem is composed of sieve, tubes and companion cells. Main functions of phloem tissues include transportation.
Morning, our subject teacher Ahana ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain the characteristics of sound in physics in this short video. So let's continue. There are 5 types of characteristics of sound: amplitude, loudness of sound, frequency, wavelength and time period. So let's learn about it. Characteristics of sound. Characteristics of sound are determined by the different properties of sound waves. There are 5 main characteristics of sound as I told you earlier. Amplitude, loudness of sound, frequency, wavelength and time period. Number 1, amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a vibrating particle from its equilibrium position. The SI unit of measurement of amplitude is meter m. So sometimes it is also measured in centimeter cm. They are measured in 2 ways, crest and trough. Crest is the highest point in wave and trough is the lowest point in the wave. Number 2, loudness of sound. It depends on the amplitude of the vibration. It will be louder when the amplitude is high. As the amplitude of vibration increases, sound also increases. Number 3, frequency. Frequency in a sound wave refers to the rate of the vibration of sound traveling through the air. In sound, it is also known as pitch. The unit of frequency is hertz, Hz. A low frequency wave has less number of vibrations per second and a high frequency wave has more number of vibrations per second. This is low frequency and this is high frequency waves. Number 4, wavelength. Wavelength of a wave is the distance between into succeed, crest and trough. It is denoted by as lambda. It indicates as complete sound of wave. It is the combined length of a compression and the adjacent rarefaction or the distance between the centers of 2 consecutive rarefactions or compressions. Number 5, time period. Time period is almost the opposite of the frequency. It is the time required to produce a single complete wave or cycle. This is the diagram of time period and this is the diagram of wavelength. Hope you liked my presentation. Thank you. Number of vibrations per second and a high frequency wave has more number of vibrations per second. This is low frequency and this is high frequency waves. Number 4, wavelength. Wavelength of a wave is the distance between into succeed, crest and trough. It is denoted by as lambda. It indicates as complete sound of wave. It is the combined length of a compression and the adjacent rarefaction or the distance between the centers of 2 consecutive rarefactions or compressions. Number 5, time period. Time period is almost the opposite of the frequency. It is the time required to produce a single complete wave or cycle. This is the diagram of time period and this is the diagram of wavelength. Hope you liked my presentation. Thank you.
My name is Rohini Roy. I am from class 6. Today I am going to discuss about the characteristics of sound and its types. Characteristics of sound. Sound waves that produced by different sources can be differentiated on basis of their characteristics. These characteristics of sound are determined by the different properties of sound waves. These sound waves produced by different sources that can be differentiate on their basis. Next one is amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a vibrating particle from its equilibrium position or mean position. Amplitude is measured in two ways: the height from the equilibrium to the highest point, which is called crest. The height from the equilibrium to the lowest point is called trough. I am giving one example of amplitude. When we play guitar and when we pluck the string of the guitar, it vibrates and produce sound. Next is loudness of sound. Loudness of sound means the air perceives loudness and helps to identify the low intensity and high intensity of sound. Amplitude determines the loudness of a sound. As amplitude increases, the loudness of the sound also increases. Loudness of a sound is directly proportional to the square of its amplitude. If the amplitude is doubled, then the loudness increases by a factor of 4. This is the diagram of loudness of sound. This is less amplitude and this can be feeble sound. This is feeble. This sound we can feel softly. And this is louder sound. Next one is frequency. Frequency is the number of vibrations made by a vibrating object in 1 second. Means frequency is a number of vibration object made by vibrating object in 1 second. A low frequency wave has less number of vibration per second and high frequency wave has more number of vibration per second. Low frequency wave has less number of vibration in 1 second and high frequency wave has more number of vibration in 1 second. Frequency varies for each sound and the unit of the frequency is hertz. A frequency of 1 hertz means 1 vibration per second. Low frequency, a frequency of 5 hertz means 5 vibration per second. This is high frequency. Then the next one is wavelength. Wavelength of a wave is the distance between two successive crests or troughs. It is also the distance from a point of a wave to its corresponding point in the next wavelength. Wavelength indicates one complete cycle of a wave. I am drawing the diagram of this. This is the diagram of wavelength of a wave. This is the wavelength. This is the amplitude. Now last one is time period. Time period is the time taken by a vibrating object to complete one vibration or one complete cycle. Means time period is a time taken by a vibrating object to complete one vibration or one complete cycle. Time period is the duration of one cycle or the time taken for traveling a distance equal to wavelength of a wave. Time period is denoted by T and measured in seconds.
My name is Smita Pal and I am in class 6. Today I will discuss about the comparison between Indus Valley Civilization and the Mesopotamian civilization. First is Indus Valley Civilization. Indus Valley Civilization is also known as Harappan Civilization. Next, number 2, it is flourished about 4,700 years ago from approximately 2500 BCE to 1500 BCE. Number 3, they were built to east of citadel. The people of Mesopotamia lived in small villages. Number 4, the main occupation of the people of the Harappan is the agriculture. Number 5, animals such as elephants, camels and dogs were domesticated. Now Mesopotamian civilization. First is the word Mesopotamia is a combination of two Greek words. Meso means in between, Potamia means river. Number 2, the father was the head of the family. Number 3, the Mesopotamian cities were into three parts: the sacred area, the walled city and the lower town. Number 4, agriculture was the main occupation. Number 5, Mesopotamian script is also known as cuneiform script. Thank you. My name is Suchishmita Pal and I am in class 6. Today I will discuss about the sets and its types in maths. Now first is, what is sets? What is sets? Sets means a well-defined collection, well-defined collection of objects is known as sets. And a set is denoted by this symbol. For example, a set of vowels A, E, I, O, U. Now set is divided into two types. First is roster form or tabular form, and the second one is set builder form. First is roster form. Roster form means a set is represented by writing of its members inside the curly braces. Okay, this is known as a roster form. For example, if I say like this, A equals to X is the first 5 months of the year. Yeah, how we will write like in answer? Like this. A equals to January, February, March, April, this. This is the roster form. Now next is second, tabular form. Tabular set builder. In set builder form, all the members are not retained in the curly braces. It is known as a set builder form. For example, if I give like this, X is a whole number less than 10. In set builder form, how we will write? This is the set builder form. So, thank you.
Good morning, our subject teacher Payal ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain set theory and its types with example in maths in this short video. So let's start. Set theory. What is set? A collection of well-defined objects is known as set, and every object forming a set is known as member or an element of a set. For example, a gang of robbers. It is not an example of set, but there are 6 different colors of pencils in a box is an example of set. Types of set. There are 3 types of set: finite, infinite, empty sets. What is finite sets? A set with finite number of elements is known as finite set. For example, 20, 25, 30, 35. It is a finite set. Next, infinite set. What is infinite set? A set with infinite number of elements is known as infinite set. For example, a set of stars in the sky. It cannot be counted, so it is infinite set. Number 3, empty set. What is empty set? A set in which there is no element is known as empty set, and empty set is also known as null set. For example, So, for example, x such that x, then this sign, smaller sign, 0, comma, x, epsilon e is an empty set because there is no even number less than 0. Then within curly bracket, there are 3 questions. A equals to x such that x, bigger sign, 9, comma, x, epsilon, and then n. Which type of set is this? This is infinite set. This one, which type of set is this? This is empty set, like this I show you. And then this 10, 20, 30, like this also I have shown in the example of finite set. So it will be finite set. Hope you like my presentation. Thank you.
Hi, I am Chandra Lekha Mojumdar. Today I am going to discuss about looping flowchart. Let's go to the PPT presentation. We know there are different types of flowcharts. First, simple flowchart. Simple flowchart are used for obtaining simple and single answer like straight linear equation, like to find area or volume or something or sum or average or any algebraic expression. Next is branch flowchart. Branch flowchart is used to get a logical conclusion when a condition is applied. It can be simple as well as complex, like is it winter or not, like to find the largest or smaller numbers. Next is looping flowchart. Looping flowchart are used for obtaining many and a series of answers together using only one equation and a single logic. It keeps repeating many times until all the answers are found, like to finding the largest number in a list of numbers. Let's find the squares of all numbers from 1 to 10. First start, then we go to process box and we put x equal 1. In output box, print x into x. X equal x plus 1, that is 1 plus 1, 2. Since is x smaller than 10, since 2 is smaller than 10, the answer got yes and print. Into 2 square, and then we again go to process box. X equal 2 plus 1, that is 3. Since 3 is smaller than 10, the answer got yes and print 3 into 3 or 3 square. 3 plus 1, 4. Since that is 4. Since 4 is less than 10, the answer got yes. Print 4 into 4 or 4 square. This way it keeps printing till number 10 is reached. Here 10 into 10, 100. Then in process box we add x plus 1. that is 10 plus 1, which is 11. In the decision box, 11 is not equal to 10. 11 is greater. Then stop. Thank you.
Good morning, our subject teacher Anna ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to tell a story of being polite in moral science in this short video. So let's continue. Once there was a boy named Rohit. His father told him to bring some bananas from the shop. Rohit went to the banana shop and bought bananas. Then after buying the bananas, he gave the money to the shopkeeper. And then on his way, a poor old man came and asking for some food because he was very hungry at that time. And the poor man had no money. Then Rohit gave all the bananas to the old poor man and he brought from the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper was watching everything. Then Rohit returned to home and then his father scolded him because Rohit didn't brought the bananas. He tried to say the truth to the father, but his father didn't listen to him. And he sent Rohit in his room with angriness. After some time, Rohit's father went to the banana shop and he again bought the bananas. Then the shopkeeper told all the truth to the father about Rohit. Then Rohit's father realized that he had done wrong with his son Rohit and he went back to his home and he felt sorry to Rohit. Hope you liked my presentation. Thank you. Good morning, our subject teacher Amrita ma'am and our respected principal ma'am. I am Aratrika Mishra of class 6. Today I am going to explain play tools, its types and importance of play tools. So let's start. Number 1. Play tool. This is the picture of play tool. A plateau is a flat, elevated landform that rises sharply above the surrounding area on at least one side. Plateaus occur on every continent and takes up a third of the Earth's land. There are three types of plateaus: volcanic and lava plateau, intermontane plateau, and dissected plateau. Number 1. Volcanic and lava plateau. This is the picture of volcanic and lava plateau. Volcanic plateau is a plateau produced by volcanic activity. It is formed by numerous small volcanic eruptions that slowly build up over time, forming a plateau from the rustling lava flows. For example, the Deccan Plateau in India. Number 2. Intermontane Plateau. This is the picture of Intermontane Plateau. Plateaus surrounded by mountain ranges are called intermontane plateau. Intermontane means between or surrounded by mountain. For example, the Tibetan Plateau. Number 3. Dissected Plateau. And this is the picture of dissected plateau. A dissected plateau is a plateau area that has been severely eroded such that the relief is sharp. The eroded region tends to appear mountainous or as hilly slopes and valleys. For example, the Cuba land. Next, importance of plateau. Plateaus are important because plateaus are storehouses of minerals and have rich deposits of minerals. Number 2. There are also the sources of several waterfalls. Number 3. Plateaus have many scenic spots which greatly attract tourists. Hope you like my presentation. Thank you.
নমস্কার, আমি চন্দ্রলেখা মজুমদার। আমি আজ ভাষা, লিপি, ব্যাকরণ ও বর্ণমালা সম্বন্ধে কিছু বলতে চাই। সংস্কৃত ভাষ্য ক্রিয়াপদ থেকেই ভাষা শব্দটির উৎপত্তি। এর অর্থ কথা বলা। মানুষের মুখে কথাকেই অবলম্বন করে গড়ে ওঠে ভাষা। কথা বলার জন্য আমরা কতগুলি বাকযন্ত্রকে কাজে লাগাই। বাকযন্ত্রের অর্থ কথা বলার যন্ত্র। আমাদের মুখের ভেতর আছে জিভ, কণ্ঠ, তালু, মূর্ধা, দন্ত, ওষ্ঠ, নাসিকা প্রভৃতি ছোট ছোট অঙ্গ। এইগুলোকেই বলা হয় বাকযন্ত্র। ধ্বনি হলো একটি শব্দের সবচেয়ে ছোট অংশ। বাকযন্ত্রের সবচেয়ে কম চেষ্টায় মুখের কথায় যেটুকু উচ্চারিত হয় তারই নাম ধ্বনি। ধ্বনি দু রকমের, স্বরধ্বনি ও ব্যঞ্জনধ্বনি। স্বরধ্বনি 11টি ও ব্যঞ্জনধ্বনি 35টি। ব্যাকরণ শব্দটির অর্থ বিশেষরূপে বিশ্লেষণ করা। বাংলা ভাষার জন্ম হয়েছে সংস্কৃত ভাষা থেকে। বাঙালিদের মধ্যে প্রথম বাংলা ব্যাকরণ লেখেন রাজা রামমোহন রায়। লিখন পদ্ধতির অন্য নাম হল লিপি। ধ্বনির লিখিত সংকেত চিহ্নগুলির নাম বর্ণ। বাংলায় বর্ণমালায় মোট 46টি বর্ণ আছে।
সুপ্রভাত আমার বাংলা চিরাশ্রী ম্যামকে আর আমার প্রিন্সিপাল ম্যামকে। আমার নাম রাত্রিকা মিশ্রা, আমি ক্লাস 6তে পড়ি। আজকে আমি আপনাদের সামনে একটা বাক্য বলবো যেটার নাম হলো সুবোধ বালক। সুবোধ বালক হওয়ার জন্য সব থেকে আগে নিজের বাবা মার কথা শুনতে হয়, তাদের কাজ করতে হয়, মার সংসারের কাজে হাত দিতে হয়, কখনো মিথ্যে কথা বলতে নেই, সত্যি কথা বলতে হয়। আর স্কুলের শিক্ষক আর শিক্ষিকাদের কথা শুনতে হয়, যেটা করলে বড় হওয়ার পথে সেই জিনিসগুলো কাজে লাগবে। কখনো কারুকে কুবাক্য বলতে নেই, কুবাক্য বললে তারা কষ্ট পায়। সবার সঙ্গে মিলেমিশে থাকতে হয়, কারুর সঙ্গে বাজে কথা বলতে নেই কারুকেও। আর পড়াশোনা করতে হয় সব সময়। আর পড়াশোনা না করলে ভালো চাকরি পায় না। যে পড়াশোনা করে না সে ভালো চাকরি পায় না। সবার সাহায্য করতে হয়, কারুর ওপরে নিজের রাগটা বার করতে নেই। সবার কথা শুনতে হয়, আর মা বাবার আর স্কুলের শিক্ষক আর শিক্ষিকাদের কথা মেনে চলতে হয়। তাদের কথা শুনলে আমাদের ফিউচারে সেই জিনিসগুলো কাজে লাগে। ধন্যবাদ।
নমস্কার, আমার নাম সুশান্ত সাউ, আমি 6 ক্লাসে পড়ি। আজ আপনাকে আমি বলবো কি নিত্যগোপাল বাড়ুয়ের সহায়তা আর ছেলেমেয়ের ব্যবসার ব্যাপারে। নিত্যগোপাল বাবুদের একটা ছেলে ছিল আর একটা মেয়ে ছিল। ছেলের নাম কল্যাণ, ও ব্যারাকপুর কলেজে পড়ে। আর মেয়ের নাম হচ্ছে পুণ্যলতা, ও বিদ্যাপীঠে পড়ে। পুণ্যলতা খুব ভালো গান গায় আর মাকে সাহায্য করে কাজে। নিত্যগোপাল বাবুর একটা ব্যবসা আছে কাপড়ের। ওই ছেলে মেয়ের লেখাপড়াই জনার সাধ্যমতেই ব্যয় করেন। ছেলে মেয়ে দুটোই খুব লেখাপড়াতে ভালো, অর্থাৎ ওরা মা বাবার সুখে থাকে। বাদে ওদের আলাপ ব্যবহার চমৎকার। কিছুদিন ধরে নিত্যগোপাল বাবুর একটু শরীরটা ঠিক লাগছিল না, শরীরে খুব ব্যথা ছিল। সারাদিন শুয়েছিলেন। ওষুধপত্র করে যারা অনেক লাভ করেছেন, এখন আর নিত্যগোপাল বাবুর দোকানেও যেতে পারে না। এখন কল্যাণ ওর বাবা ব্যবসা দেখাশোনা করছে। নিত্যগোপাল বাবুর ছেলেমেয়েরা সত্যিই খুব ভালো। এটাই ছিল নিত্যগোপাল ছেলেমেয়ের আর পরিবারের কথা। ধন্যবাদ।
আজকে আমি সুবোধ ভালো হওয়ার উপায় বলতে যাচ্ছি। কখনো কেউকে বাক্য করবে না। বালকালে মন দিয়ে লেখাপড়া শিখে সবাই তোমাকে ভালোবাসবে। সদা সত্যি কথা কইবে। কদাচ পিতা মাতার অবাধ্য হইবে না। তারা যেই কইবে তা বলবেন, তা কইবেন। ধন্যবাদ।
मेरा नाम सुशील सावर, मैं क्लास 6 की छात्री हूँ। मैं क्लास 6 की छात्र हूँ। आज मैं आपको एक कहानी बताने वाली हूँ। उसका नाम है होमवर्क का पहाड़। चुनमुन करे तो क्या करे, उसके सिर पर एक बहुत बड़ा भार पड़ चुका था कि पहाड़ हो चुका था। वो छोटे से ही हल करना चाहता था, वो कभी भी हल नहीं कर पाता था। दिन ब दिन पहाड़ बन जाता है। वो छोटे से ही समझ नहीं पाता था कि क्या करे। वो बहुत कोशिश करता है पर वो कभी भी सफल नहीं हो पाता था। ऐसा नहीं है कि चुनमुन आलसी है, उसकी एक बुरी आदत थी कि उसके पास अगर कोई बैठता तभी वो होमवर्क कर पाता, नहीं तो अकेले में वो लूडो और कैरम नहीं तो टीवी देखने बैठ जाता। कभी कभी अकेले में तो लेटे सो ही जाता था। असल में उसकी माँ ही उसकी सारी विद्यालय की होमवर्क करा देती थी, पर पिछले 6 महीने से उसकी माँ उसके पापा के जैसा माँ भी ऑफिस जाने लगे। वो भी लौट के आते हैं 6 से 7 बजे। तो चुनमुन अकेले में क्या करे। विद्यालय से आते ही मीना आंटी के घर जाकर चाबी लेता है। फिर अगर कोई बिजली का या फिर पानी का बिल आए तो उसे संभाल के रखना पड़ता है। आते ही वो फ्रिज से पानी पीता, मुँह धोता, फिर टीवी देखने बैठ जाता। विद्यालय से वो सोच के आता था कि मैं जब भी घर आऊँगी खाने के बाद होमवर्क कर दूँगी, पर ये कभी हो नहीं सकता था। और जब भी फिर कभी आगे कोई चिंता नहीं थी कि लगता था कि हाँ आज कर लूँगा, इतना क्या जल्दी है। पर दिन ब दिन ही उसका होमवर्क बढ़ते जाता है और ये होमवर्क बढ़ते उसका एक पहाड़ हो जाता है। दिन ब दिन गणित और मैथ के टीचर से डांट खा के आता है। तभी वो एक दिन तो रो पड़ा था कि मैं क्या करूं। एक दिन वो रो पड़ा था कि मम्मी ने डांटते हुए बोला तुम होमवर्क क्यों नहीं करते। चुनमुन बोला कि आप पहले रहते थे, मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता था। तो ऐसे ही करते उसकी मम्मी ने थोड़ी सी करा के बोली कि आगे तुम कर लो। बेचारा चुनमुन कुछ कह नहीं पाता था, वैसे ही बैठा था। चुनमुन का होठ सूख जाता था। वो क्या करेगा कुछ समझ में भी नहीं आता था कि क्या करूं। पर ओठ सूख जाता है। वो जब भी विद्यालय से जाता था फिर वो डांट खा के आता था। जब भी वो विद्यालय से लौटा तो उसका पूरा चेहरा जैसे लग रहा था फूल सूख गया हो। तभी वो होमवर्क बैठा था, तभी उसको एक खटखटाई दी। तभी उसने ऊपर देखा पीछे घूमकर देखा तो एक अनजानी बोना बैठा हुआ था। उसने कहा कि एक बोना बैठा हुआ था। उसने कहा ना कि मेहनत करो, क्यों घबरा रहे हो। तो शुरू में तो नहीं कर सकता था। शुरू करो तो दुनिया का कोई ऐसा सवाल जो तुम नहीं कर सकते हो। तो हाँ, शुरू करते हैं। कठिन है। चुनमुन सिर जो खुजाकर हुए बोलता है। तो फिर बोना और वो दोनों मिलके सब होमवर्क कर लेते हैं। फिर बोना चला जाता है। फिर चुनमुन सोचता है ये तो इतना ज़्यादा कठिन नहीं था, ये तो मैं भी कर सकता था। फिर चुनमुन आत्मविश्वास के साथ अपने विद्यालय जाता है। फिर गणित के टीचर उसे गुस्से से बोलते हैं होमवर्क किए हो। चुनमुन आत्मविश्वास के साथ उन्हें कॉपी देता है। तो गणित के टीचर बोलते हैं शाबाश, तुम तो हमारे स्कूल के बहुत अच्छे बच्चे हो। फिर उससे चुनमुन को बहुत खुशी मिलती है। फिर वो घर आके ही खाना खा के वो फिर बैठ जाता है। वो सब कुछ हेल्प करता है पर फिर बीच में वो रुक जाता है। फिर उसे देखता है कि वही फिर से बोना बैठे हैं। तो वो कहता है कि आज तुम मुझसे कुछ पूछोगे नहीं, मेरी सहायता नहीं करोगे। तो बोना ने बोला कि हाँ ज़रूर। फिर दोनों ने मिलके उसे भी कर लिया। और फिर बोना ने बोला कि ठीक है, मैं कर लिया, अब तुम खुद से करना। उसके बाद चुनमुन ने कहा कि धन्यवाद, आगे मैं कर लूँगा। तीसरे दिन जब बोना ने बोला कि आज सहायता नहीं चाहिए, तो चुनमुन ने कहा कि नहीं, मुझे आज सहायता नहीं चाहिए। तो उसके बाद बोना ने कहा तुम मेरे साथ खेलोगे। तो चुनमुन ने कहा वो तुम मेरे साथ थोड़ी देर तक खेलोगे। तो चुनमुन बोना के साथ खेला। तो बोना ने पूछा कि तुम जानते हो मैं कौन हूँ। तो चुनमुन ने कहा कि मैं जानती हूँ, तुम मेरे एक अच्छे मित्र हो। तो बोना ने कहा कि हाँ, मैं तुम्हारी अच्छे मित्र हूँ, पर मैं ही चुनमुन ने खुशी होकर कहा हाँ, तुम मेरे अच्छे दोस्त हो, तुम्हें हमेशा मेरे साथ क्यों नहीं रहते हो। तो बोना हंसकर बोला कि मैं तो तुम्हारे हर समय साथी हूँ, तो तुम मुझे देखते ही नहीं हो। मित्र में कोई जादुई गुण होता है, बल्कि मैं तुम्हें आत्मविश्वास हूँ। जब भी तुम मुस्कुराते हो और मुझे देखते हो तो तुम्हारे अंदर आत्मविश्वास आ जाता है और सारे काम तुम आसानी से ही कर लेते हो। अब चुनमुन को होमवर्क की पहाड़ नहीं लगता, बल्कि चुनमुन आनंद से अपना विद्यालय का काम करता था। इससे हम लोगों को ये सीखना मिलती है कि हम लोगों को हर समय ट्राई करनी है जब तक हम लोग सफलता ना पाएँ।
My name is Rohini Roy. I am from class 6. Today I am going to explain about the summary of the poem कौन सिखाता। कौन सिखाता है चिड़िया को ची 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 करना। इसका मतलब है चिड़िया को कौन सिखाता है ची 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 करना। कौन सिखाता फुड़क फुड़क कर उनको चलना फिरना। इसका मतलब है चिड़िया को कौन सिखाता है फुड़क फुड़क कर चलना फिरना। कौन सिखाता फुट से उड़ना दाने चुग चुग कर खाना। इसका मतलब है चिड़िया लोगों को कौन सिखाता है फुट से उड़ना और दाने को चुग चुग कर खाना। चिड़िया लोगों को कौन सिखाता है। कौन सिखाता तीन को ला ला कर घोंसले बनाना। इसका मतलब है चिड़िया को कौन सिखाता है तीन को ला ला कर घोंसले बनाना। कौन सिखाता है बच्चे का लालन पालन उनको। इसका मतलब है चिड़िया को कौन सिखाता है बच्चे का लालन पालन करना। माँ का प्यार दुलार चौकसी कौन सिखाता उनको। इसका मतलब है माँ का प्यार दुलार चौकसी करना उनको कौन सिखाता है। कुदरत का ये खेल वही हम सबको सब कुछ देते। इसका मतलब है कुदरत ही हम लोगों को सब कुछ देता है, किंतु नहीं बदले में हमसे वो कुछ भी है लेती। इसका मतलब है कुदरत हम लोगों को सब कुछ देती है पर हमसे कुछ भी नहीं लेती। हम सब उनके वसाज जो जैसे सूरज, चाँद, सितारे। इसका मतलब है हम उनके वसाज है जैसे है सूरज, चाँद, सितारे के जैसे।
Good morning ma'am. Today I explain the summary of poem कौन सिखाता है। कवि द्वारिका प्रसाद माहेश्वरी कविता लिखी है। ये कविता प्रकृति की निरर्थक भावना की बारे में है। चिड़िया को कोई भी नहीं सिखाता चींची करना, उसको कोई भी फुदक फुदक कर चलना नहीं सिखाता। वही को कोई भी नहीं सिखाता उड़ना और दाने चुग चुग खाना। वो जो तिनको ला ला कर घोंसले बनाना है वो भी नहीं अपने आप से। ऐसे के वो जो बच्चे को लालन पालन करते माँ का प्यार देते हैं वो भी वो अपने आप से सीख जाते हैं। कुदरत का ये खेल भी हम सबको सब कुछ देती, किंतु बदले में कुछ भी लेती। हम सब उसके अंश की जैसे तरु पशु पक्षी सारे। हम सब उसके वंशज उस जैसे सूरज, चाँद, सितारे। नेक्स्ट आई डिस्कस दी वर्ण और वर्णमाला। मुख से निकली वह ध्वनि जिसको टुकड़े नहीं की जा सकते वर्णों या अक्षर कोई होती है। वर्ण दो प्रकार की होती है, स्वर तथा व्यंजन। हिंदी 11 स्वर तथा 31 व्यंजन है। स्वर तथा व्यंजन को समूह को वर्णमाला कहती है। ओके मैम, बाय मैम।